It is a cold, stormy winter day in the Netherlands. An innocent group of people are taking a walk on the beach in The Hague, Scheveningen, until suddenly they see something strange and suspicious lying on the beach. What we're seeing is a technique known as the drop-off method, a method used by smugglers to unload drugs into the sea from cargo ships, often from faraway lands like South America. But this time, something went wrong. But what if I told you this is no coincidence? What if it's part of a bigger, dangerous game being played along the coastlines of Europe? A game that's costing lives and shaking the foundations of our security? This is the story behind the cocaine that is washed up at the shores of the Netherlands. On the coast between Scheveningen and Katwijk, a shocking discovery has been made. A massive 350 kilograms of cocaine washed up right on the shore. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it's real, and it's happening right now. To understand how these packages end up on the Dutch shores, we need to start at the beginning. The journey of this deadly cargo starts thousands of miles away in South America, where the coca plant thrives in the jungles of Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia. There, powerful cartels grow and process the coca leaves, turning them into the cocaine that fuels a global drug trade. From the jungles of South America, the drugs are packed and prepared for transport. Small planes are used to fly shipments to secret airstrips. But for large-scale smuggling operations, the real method is by sea, through vast international shipping routes that cut through the Caribbean and across the Atlantic Ocean. That's where Europe comes into play. Cocaine is loaded onto massive cargo ships, often hidden in shipping containers filled with bananas, coffee, or other legitimate goods. These containers are designed to evade customs detection. The drugs are often dropped into the Atlantic Ocean using the drop-off method. We will explain in a moment how this method works. But why does this all lead to the Netherlands? What makes this country such a critical player in the cocaine trade? The Netherlands is Europe's gateway to the drug trade, and the port of Rotterdam is one of the busiest in the world. Every day, thousands of shipping containers pass through, carrying everything from electronics to food. The sheer volume of trade makes Rotterdam a perfect hiding place for drugs, cocaine included. Once the cocaine reaches Rotterdam, it's easy for smugglers to move it across Europe. The Netherlands is at the heart of Europe's road, rail, and waterway networks, meaning traffickers can easily distribute the drugs to neighboring countries like Belgium, Germany, and France. It's a crucial transit point for the entire European market. But here's the real danger. Rotterdam's advanced security measures can't stop everything. Smugglers have found ways to conceal the cocaine in containers, sometimes hidden in plain sight. And once the drugs are in the Netherlands, they can easily be distributed to criminal groups across the continent. And that brings us back to the beaches of the Netherlands. After being dumped or lost in the sea, these blocks of cocaine sometimes wash up on the shore. The rush to find them? It's not only illegal, but extremely risky. These blocks aren't just trash. They carry serial marks that can trace them right back to the criminals who own them. So, picking one up, it could cost you more than you think. But it's not just about the drugs. It's about what's happening next. Because even as authorities swoop in to seize the cocaine, there's a dangerous game being played by those willing to risk everything to get their hands on the drugs. And these aren't hardened criminals. These are ordinary young people, searching the rocks and hidden corners along the harbor head, putting their lives in serious danger. The cocaine? It didn't just wash up by accident. What we're seeing is a technique known as the drop-off method, a well-known and risky smuggling tactic used by drug traffickers to move large quantities of cocaine from South America to Europe. Let's dive into how this method works and why it's creating so many problems on our beaches. The drop-off technique is a method where smugglers drop packages of cocaine into the sea, often from large cargo ships traveling across the ocean. These ships, typically carrying legitimate goods like bananas or coffee, are often coming from ports in South America, such as Colombia, Ecuador, or Brazil. But hidden among the legal cargo are tightly sealed packages of cocaine, waiting to be dumped at sea. Once the cargo ship reaches a designated spot off the coast of Europe, the smugglers release the drugs into the ocean, usually in waterproof bags or sealed containers. These are designed to float on the surface of the water and can even be equipped with GPS trackers to guide the smugglers when it's time to retrieve them. The idea is simple. The drugs are dropped, left to float in international waters, and then picked up later by smaller boats, sometimes fishing boats or speedboats, that know exactly where to look. But sometimes, things go wrong. If the GPS fails, or if the weather conditions change unexpectedly, these drug-filled packages can drift far off course. And that's exactly what happened here, on the beaches of the Netherlands. The cocaine, intended for distribution in Europe, ended up washing up along the coastline, right in front of unsuspecting beachgoers. The cocaine that washed up was part of a larger shipment, likely dropped into the sea somewhere along the Atlantic Ocean. Due to weather conditions, ocean currents, or a malfunction in the tracking system, the drugs veered off course and were carried to the coast of the Netherlands, where they came ashore. But why the Netherlands? Why is this country such a hotspot for cocaine trafficking in Europe? The Netherlands, specifically the Rotterdam port, is one of the busiest and most important ports in Europe. It's a massive gateway for global trade, which means there are countless containers coming in every day from all over the world. The sheer volume of goods passing through makes it difficult to inspect every single container thoroughly. And this is where traffickers take advantage, hiding drugs like cocaine among the legal shipments, making it almost impossible to detect. Once the drugs reach Rotterdam, the smugglers can distribute them across Europe via land routes, through highways, trains, and hidden stash points. It's a strategic entry point for cocaine entering the EU market, making the Netherlands a key player in the global drug trade. But there's a much darker side to all of this. The flood of cocaine entering the Netherlands is not just turning the port cities into nexus points for the drug trade, it's transforming the country itself into a narco state. The same cocaine that washed up on the shores of Scheveningen and Katwijk is fueling a violent crime wave across the nation. The macro mafia, a criminal organization with roots in Morocco, has gained a stranglehold on the Netherlands drug market. These criminal syndicates are not just involved in trafficking, they're running an underground empire. The rise of the macro mafia has brought with it a surge in murders, shootouts, and violent turf wars, as rival gangs battle for control of the country's lucrative drug trade. Across cities like Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and The Hague, police presence has become increasingly militarized, with heavily armed officers patrolling neighborhoods in response to the rise in gang-related violence. Murders tied to the drug trade have become disturbingly common, as the macro mafia and other cartels use extreme measures to maintain their control over distribution networks. Just recently, the Netherlands saw a string of targeted assassinations of key figures in the drug trade. But not only in the drug trade, also well-known journalists and lawyers fighting organized crime are being murdered. This is their way to cause anxiety. No one is safe. These murders are a signal that the battle for control of Europe's drug market is intensifying, and the consequences for ordinary citizens are devastating. And the terrifying truth? The violence doesn't show any signs of slowing down. The Netherlands is no longer just a transit point for cocaine. It's become a battleground where organized crime is pulling the strings and violence is becoming an everyday occurrence. The country is quickly becoming a narco state where the illegal drug trade is not just tolerated, but actively shaping the future. So the next time you hear about a block of cocaine washing up on the beach or a violent incident in the streets, remember? This is the reality of a country caught in the grip of a drug-fueled crime wave. A narco state where power is no longer in the hands of the law, but in the hands of dangerous criminal syndicates who will stop at nothing to control the flow of cocaine across Europe.